Usual pen tests do not bring much value, but I am here to show you and to tell you a story how it can be different. Let's skip who am I and let's talk about more interesting stuff. Customers usually want to test their network security, but only from the publicly available services. And servers, they are pretty much secure nowadays. Sometimes they even want to test you one web application, the most exposed one. So he has put a lot of money into it, and thus it's secure already. Once it was different. We got a request from a customer to test their network security, but also to perform social engineering via phone calls and emails, and to try to access their buildings. So we started with a network scan. We identified an instance of OwnCloud server. Who knows OwnCloud? Thank you. This customer used OwnCloud to share files with their external partners. It's a better solution than using RapidShare. The way how I like to hack these services is to guess passwords, by guessing passwords. It's easy to set up, it's fast, it's efficient. But I didn't have logins. Luckily, we found a zero-day vulnerability in one of those plugins that were installed in OwnCloud. This plugin leaked currently online users. So even to the unauthenticated user. So that's the bug. After hours of waiting, we collected enough logins to proceed with password guessing. When we tried simple passwords, we gained already tens of valid accounts. We could download files and upload files, but we couldn't run any code. We prepared a few scripts for phone calls. Every time we asked a few innocent questions, and then we asked the one that was important to us. And that is, which brand of antivirus do you use? Many times the employee didn't know. One of them even told me, I don't know, but the network administrator works at the end of the hall, let me ask her. I said, no, it's not necessary. If they say they don't know, we offer them a tool that will automatically report this information to us. It was just enough to run this backdoor tool. And we uploaded it to the OwnCloud server, so it served from their own domain. We also faked the outgoing phone number, so it looked more trustworthy. We tried spearfishing, which is infecting via email attachments. For this, we tried to apply for a job. From this effort, we never received a connection back. So maybe, that's my guess, maybe they didn't even open our applications. So if you look for a job and you don't get an answer, maybe that's the case. Every time we saw a login form, we tried to guess passwords. But there is a risk of locking accounts. If there is Microsoft Active Directory and the policy, and it allows only maybe 5 attempts, and then the account gets locked, then it might cause trouble to many employees. So we used instead a different trick. We used only one password, and we tried it for many logins. We tried a long password that has uppercase letters and lowercase letters and has numbers, something like winter 2019. I'm sure many people will choose this password in the near future. This way, we gained access to emails and to their intranet. What have you found there? In the email, there were emails from the security department about flash drives that they are allowed to use. Each employee got a USB flash drive of a certain type, and no other flash drives were allowed. we prepared for this engagement, and we bought beautiful pink flash drives from some e-shop, and we wanted to put them on a parking lot, maybe bathrooms, or just pretend we found it on the street while walking a dog, and we tried to put them to some employee. And these were not looking the same, so we returned them to the e-shop. What did we find in the intranet? There were security measures and documents about how the buildings and network is organized. We used this information later. We tried to get as close to the building or inside, as close as possible, or inside. This is how it looked like on Google Maps on the satellite view. The wall on the top, that's the target. Around that, there is a parking space, and there is a fence, garden, and houses. So if I wanted to go closer, I needed to go through this block of houses. So I took leaflets, advertisement leaflets, and I pretended I'm giving them to mailboxes. Actually, I had to do, because the owners were checking me and controlling if I really do, if they allowed me to go inside the building. And then I wanted to go through the garden and then climb over the fence. If not, there is something sharp or it's not possible, or I am not able to, then I will just take USB flash drives and throw them onto the parking lot. When I was in the buildings, I saw that the fence is a 4-meter high wall. So it didn't work. We tried trash diving, and the customer didn't limit us in this. He was actually surprised that one of the trash bins was not locked. This is a funny picture. These are pentesters with diplomas from universities. We collected anything that looked like a paper, and colleagues put them, the parts of the papers together. The customer was surprised that we found documents, like documentation from the alarm system and similar things. But we didn't get inside. And we wanted to do it. And I thought, like, I will use some lockpicking or something like that. This picture is from another engagement. Let me share the story quickly. We traveled a few hundreds of kilometers to get there. It was some industry facility. And we received helmets, and we had to sign papers that we have to obey security measures, safety measures. If not, and we die, then it's our responsibility. And we waited for some part of this facility to shut down so that we can proceed and to actually try something. And I wanted to use this time, so I wanted to check the locks that are on the doors, so that next time maybe I will prepare some special lockpicks or something like that. The workers there, they didn't like us, so they took it differently. They went outside, like more than 10 of them. They went outside and they locked the door twice and said, "Show us what you got." So I humbly prayed and I tried to open the lock, and actually did. It was not a secure lock, now I know. And suddenly we were allowed, or we would be allowed, or be capable of doing anything there if we came at a time when there is no one. So it changed their perception. When we were there, we were allowed to touch only one optical port, nothing else. And suddenly, if we came at a different time, we could just go to the controlling computer that controls everything. But at this engagement, it's different. The lockpicking this couldn't be done, because what we saw on the intranet, there were measures about the receptionists. There were 2 receptionists all the time, or should be. And if we wanted to go by car onto the parking lot, there were 2 gates. There is a receptionist checking the car, there is a gate, there is a card reader, there is a camera scanning the license plate, and there is the second gate. So we didn't even try this one. And there was this huge fence around that I couldn't jump over. But my friend, he tried something different. He used the reception, something called tailgating. There was a lady going inside the building, and he was behind her and tried to go through as well, but there was this tourniquet that allows only one person at a time. So he asked her politely if he can go inside, if she allows him to go in. And she said, use your card. So he had some card, but it was a card from a consulting company, not very related to this company. So it obviously didn't work. So he asked her first, can you use your card? And she said, no, I would have to leave first, but with a reason. I have to push a button, like I am leaving to a doctor, or she has to have some reason, and then she can enter. So this didn't work out. So he went back a few meters and asked the receptionist to go in. The receptionist was rough. Who are you meeting with? And he was prepared that he printed out some papers, some presentation from a very boss of the company. So he read his name, and the receptionist called one of the assistants. The assistant came down. She was very busy. And she said, you don't have a meeting with our boss. But he was allowed to go in with a visitor card and wait on the assistant behind the tourniquet. So my friend acted, oh, really? I don't have, my colleague must have screwed up. Let me call them. And the assistant was busy, so she went upstairs to finish her work. And he was left behind the tourniquet. He was still visible to the receptionists. He just took his things, put them on the table, and he went to bathroom. He wanted to leave some flash drives there, of course. And when he came back, he saw that none of the receptionists are there anymore. So he took his things so that it would look like he left, but instead he went inside the building. And he walked through the building and to the second connected building, and in one of the halls, he met a guy. This guy definitely knew, or at least looked like he knows my friend, but my friend didn't know this guy. So who could that be? It was the security guy who ordered us, and he knew us from the photos on the CVs that were as part of the communication. We didn't know him personally. So by this only eye contact, there was this information exchange that, oh, you got us. You are inside. We wanted to give the customer the answer, what could an attacker without skills achieve, like if we can go inside, or with IT skills and he can be prepared and know which flash drives are used. To sum what we achieved, we had access to on-cloud, but we couldn't run any code. We could only upload and download files. Then we had access to personal computers of the employees, and we could pivot to the servers. We got access to the building as well. But most importantly, we gained a customer who was happy with the results, and he ordered us again. In this case, the customer knew what he wanted. He specified it very clearly and very well in the document. He specified a broad scope of the test. And if we wanted to even broaden it more, he didn't stop us. This way, we could give him more accurate information about the security there. Thank you for your attention. Are there any questions?
Hi. Have you ever been busted on a penetration testing, and what have you done at that time?
Pardon?
Have you ever been busted on a penetration testing, either physical or software?
No, we were too... Well, actually, we stopped before we got busted, because we had only a limited number of faces that we could use, only the team, and we didn't want to... we wanted to reuse us.
Okay,
so we were walking with a dog, but if it looked like not very innocent, then we didn't do it.
Thank you.
Yes?
For a returning customer, what changes have you seen when they come back to you asking for another set of penetration tests with more wider, like giving you more of a free hand, but has it ever been more difficult for a customer who comes back to you? Like, did they implement the changes, and what's the usual ratio / percentage of changes that you recommend they actually implement?
May I rephrase the question? Is it like this customer, what changes did he apply?
Yeah, recommendations from you guys, did they actually implement it, and what was the percentage of recommendations on an average you see the
He implemented all of them. He changed everything, and he even rebuilt the reception. So there is a guest area now, so that this is not possible anymore. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. One more.
Sorry. There is one more. There are two.
How many questions do we see? So
I see 3, 4.
2 questions.
There are 3 on this side and 2 on this side.
Okay. So who was first? Martin.
I don't remember because I have. But
okay,
I
let's
saw
start
the lady
here.
And
let's start here.
Yeah.
If the guard are armed, you continue the pen testing?
Pardon? I didn't know.
If the guard are armed.
The guard?
If he has gun.
Oh, her gun.
You continue the pen testing?
That's a funny question. I didn't know. I don't think he had a gun. Maybe. Yes?
Hi again. After you successfully penetrated a system, was it hard for you afterwards to speak with the blue team, with the internal security team, and explain to them what went wrong? And was it hard to have a discussion with them on how to better secure in the future the system?
The blue team was actually the one that ordered us. And they were happy with the result. They said, oh, this is different. When the test that we had previously, there was some probably vulnerability scan that was just translated or something like that. So it was maybe tough for them, but they had a good position and good relationship with the director probably.
Okay, so they were pretty open. But did you have any blue teams that weren't that open to suggestions?
Oh yeah, that happens many times. Yeah.
And what are your recommendations in order to better have a communication with them?
Like if they order us, then they are willing to cooperate. I think you speak from your experience, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. If not, then maybe to build the trust first. Like with the workers, we came there only to build trust. We actually were not allowed to do much at first.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Martin, we have one more question here. So everybody that still has questions, please approach Martin during the breaks. He will answer to all your questions.
Let's meet afterwards.
Let's hear it out.
Thank you for your presentation. I have a very small and simple question. Why do usual pen tests suck?
Because they are limited. Because the scope is very limited, and it may happen that, okay, the web application that you want me to test is secure, but next to it there is this debugging instance of the same application, and it's very easy to hack. That happened to me already.
Okay, thank you so much, Martin. Such an awesome presentation.